Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is a Smoking Beard bringing you another brisket ballet. That's right. Today, I'm going to test how much meat my smoker can handle. All right, so what I have in front of me is 5 whole briskets. And I'm going to see if my smoker can handle it, and on top of that, what I need to do to make sure I have a successful smoke. So you see here, this is a 12-pounder, 12.5-pounder. And then we have a 15.5-pounder. Then we have about a 10-pounder, 9.8. We have a 15, almost a 16-pounder. And we have a 15.5-pounder. Just on these two alone, it's 30 pounds. Just on this one, it's another 15, that's 45. That's another 10, that's 50. And that's another 12, that's 62. Let's round it down, let's give the meat the benefit of the doubt. It'll be about 62 pounds of brisket. We'll see if my smoker can handle it. Again, doing it on a Masterbuilt electric smoker. If you want to know how to set up your smoker, how to prep these briskets, how all these other know-hows are for beginners, check out my other videos that I have up, and they explain it to detail. But in this video, like magic, I'm gonna have these set up in my smoker, already seasoned and ready to go. All right, come with me in the journey of the 5 brisket challenge through our Masterbuilt electric smoker. So we're back, and look, yes, my Masterbuilt can accommodate all my meat. We got not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but we got 5 briskets in here. Some of the things I gotta make sure that I keep an eye on, because the last time I smoked 4 briskets, this was an issue that happened. And if you are thinking of smoking 5 briskets for either some type of big party or a benefit or a barbecue, make sure that that hole back there does not get stuffed up or plugged up, because if that happens, you're gonna turn your smoker into a steamer, and when that happens, your brisket is going to come out a lot faster, and that's not a good sign. So because there's so much more fat in here that's going to be dripping out, that's going to render out, what I suggest you do is you make sure that you keep an eye on this throughout the entire cook. Yes, you might be able to go to sleep, but for the majority of it, I would recommend you keep an eye on it, especially if you're going to do these many briskets. The best way to keep an eye on it without having to really stay up all night is get yourself some type of digital thermometer meat probe that can actually send you information to your phone via Bluetooth. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm turning on my meat probe. Then I'm going to turn on my smoker. I'm going to set it at 220. You know what, for this one I might go a little bit higher. Let's go to 240 because of the amount of meat there is. And then I'm going to set the timer to 24 hours. You're good to go. Now my smoker is ready to go. The other thing I have to do is, if you do not have a cold smoker attachment, add chips to your smoker. If you do have a cold smoker attachment like I do, this thing is filled up with chips. I just turned it on. The magic will happen. Alright, so there you go. We're gonna see how these briskets come out, but for now, all I did was I put Rudy's rub on it from Rudy's barbecue, and we're gonna see how these briskets come out. I want to see if you guys can pick up on that sound that the brisket is making on the inside. This is why I'd say it's very important that, especially for these amount of briskets that you're going to be cooking, that you always keep an eye out. We haven't been no more than 2 hours into the cook, maybe about an hour and a half, and it's already spewing out in the back some of the fat droppings, and that normally doesn't happen till after about 4 or 5 hours into a cook. And I'm gonna open it up real quick so you guys can see what's going on and why that sound is, it's making that sound.
So if you hear that, there's a lot of juices that are starting to accumulate in the back, and that's the reason for it is because, I don't know if you can see, but there's a lot of fat that's coming out of each of these 5 briskets that I have in here. So that's just something you have to keep an eye on all the time, constantly. Hopefully this does not overflow on me, that hole does not plug up, because if it does, I'm in trouble, especially if I'm going to go to sleep. Now, one way to combat that is, even when you do go to sleep, do not close the damper all the way, because closing the damper all the way, what's going to happen there is if you do this and your escape valve down there plugs up, you're basically going to steam your briskets. So if you leave it open, it'll allow for some of that steam to come out so that it doesn't overcook your briskets while you're away. Just a quick tip on that. So 6 hours into the cook, we're going strong. This Masterbuilt is handling my 5 brisket attempt challenge. 5 brisket challenge. Woo! Now that sound you're hearing of all that sizzling, remember there's so much fat that's being rendered out that you're gonna have a lot more of that going on. So don't worry about the sizzling. What you do have to worry about is that you make sure that drain in the back is not clogged up. All right, just continue to cook them. Right now, the temperature on the brisket is about 170. Perfect. So we're just gonna continue cooking until they get to the 190 to 195. Well, I guess that answers that question. Can you smoke 5 briskets at once with your Masterbuilt electric smoker? And the answer is a definite yes. We have 5 briskets once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They seem to be doing pretty well. The thing is that with these briskets, because they're at different weights, some of them are coming out sooner than others. Some are closer to the heating element than others. So I'm going to have to start pulling these out as they're starting to hit temperature. Remember, it's about 190, no more than 195. You don't want to go anything above that. If not, it's going to start to dry out on you. The one at the bottom is at 198. So I'm going to pull that one out and continue smoking the rest of them. One thing I do caution you, and I think I already spoke about this, but just to make sure, your drip pan over here on the bottom, it's going to be releasing some on your drip tray. It's going to be releasing some of that, some of the overflow of the grease that's going to be melting. Now, what I just did is I didn't put the little trap there. I just let it flow out, and as you can see, there's a lot of goodness coming out through there. Make sure that this is not plugged up. If it's plugged up, you might have a little emergency on your hand if it starts to back into your smoker, and then after that it's going to start to make it steam instead of smoke. So that's just another tip to make sure that you have that flowing all the time. But other than that, yes, this was about I think I mentioned about 65 pounds worth of brisket. It was done, and if you look at it, I could have probably, let me clean this up, I could have probably put another small one there, maybe another one small one there, maybe another 3 briskets. I could have, but that would have been just kind of like pushing it. But 5 briskets, it is possible. Keep smoking, guys. Please subscribe to my channel, like, and comment on anything you would want to see me smoke, and then we'll go from there. Thanks, guys.